Hi, Pete Lockett here. Welcome to part 2 of our exploration of the very basic toolbox for the bongos. Remember that a lot of these lessons and tutorials are really aimed at drummers as well as percussionists, with the idea that we can begin to get some of the fundamentals of some percussion instruments, so you can add them to your list of available instruments when you record or work with someone on a new project. So last time we had a few basic notes on the bongos. We had the bass tone on the lower bongo, with the open tone on the higher bongo, and accents, and we built everything around that using again focusing very much on the simple right left hand configuration to build all of our patterns. In this lesson we're going to look at a few more strokes. We're going to look at some muting techniques with the thumb and the fingertips, which create different sounds on the smaller bongo, and we're also going to add in the slap stroke. So we're going to start off with the rhythms that we had last time, but instead of the accented notes, we're going to add the slap strokes. Now, the slap stroke, as you might remember if you looked at the cajon lesson a few issues ago, is very much like if you're bouncing a ball and you grab it and you stop it dead in its tracks. It's kind of like this bouncing sort of motion. You know, you kind of got the ball and grab the ball, and that kind of creates this cupping position of the hand. And the slap stroke is very similar, both on bongos or djembe, congas, cajon. It's kind of like a hit and a grab. Very cool sound, very dynamic, really pops out, and is a kind of nice, loud, accented tone, and can certainly add a lot of dynamics into performing on the bongos. It does take a little bit of time to kind of get the slap stroke together, so make sure you spend a long time like looking at exactly how the hand positions and how it's how it's being put together. I mean, if we strip it down, slow motion, we kind of see the hand comes in and grabs slightly like this. Now that's a hit and grab sort of motion. Very staccato. So let's start to put this into a first example for this issue. Now, remember last time we had our rhythm based on 3-3-2. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, and we were playing with the open bass tone on the downbeat, and then the accents on the high drum and the ghost notes in between. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. So now we're going to do the same, but with the slap stroke instead of the accents on the high drum. So now let's look at the same thing, but instead we'll have 2 3 3. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. So now let's add in a few different strokes into this whole mix of things. Now, It's very common in percussion that you have various muting tones and ways to create different harmonics and resonance from instruments. With the bongos, this is normally done with the thumb and the fingertips of the weaker hand, in my case the left hand. So you notice if I've got the thumb on the drum and I strike with the right hand, you kind of get a very distinct sounding muted tone. Now if I put my fingers on the head, you'll see it's slightly more open, lower in pitch. Thumbs, fingers. So this is the first thing to experiment with, just with the thumb down and hitting, fingers down and hitting, open. So we've got 3 different tones there. What we're going to start to do is piece this into a rhythm that's called the martillo, which means the hammer in Spanish. It's one of the formative rhythms that you hear on bongos, and for me is a really important technique that I use a lot in creating many different types of rhythms that aren't basically part of the martillo structure, but use the idea of the thumb muting and the fingers muting and creating different patterns around that. Now, if we look at example 3, we'll see that that's notated with the thumb coming down on the last 16th note of the bar before. So that's leading into the downbeat, which will become the first closed stroke. This is followed by the fingertips that fall down like this. So this is the first exercise. Thumb just comes down flat. You can see it's completely flat on the head. Normal strike, either with all 4 fingers or 1 finger. Traditionally it would be all 4 fingers. Fingertips come down. Now in a sequence. Hear how we get all those different tones coming out of the drum with the muting, with the thumb and the fingers. You can put a little bit of emphasis into the thumb stroke that leads to this first accent. So now we're going to add in a bass tone on the upbeat at the end of the bar of 2/4. Remember the first rhythm that we did in the first bongo lesson? This will be the version of that, but with the muting with the left hand instead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so this all sounds pretty cool. Let's look at example 5. Now, with example 5, we're going to add in one of the open note accents on the left hand. This is very characteristic of this martillo pattern. It sounds like this, first of all. That kind of anticipated last 16th note of the bar coming out onto the high-pitched open tone. Now this is really, we're replacing the thumb with a stroke on the edge of the drum instead. So it involves a little bit of you know, kind of arrangement of the hands, because now not only are you moving between the thumb and the fingertips, you're also coming back and substituting one of those notes with an open tone. So it's a pretty cool rhythm. Once you spent a little bit of time getting it together and working with the, you know, the different pitches of the muted thumb tone and the coming back for the open tone, it's a very cool rhythm, and works in a lot of different scenarios, not just within a traditional setting. So finally, we're going to look at an example, a slower version of this kind of martillo rhythm, where we get a pattern on the lower bongo that kind of slightly reflects what you would find on conga drums playing a tumbao, which is a repetitive pattern played on one of the conga drums. So this involves keeping the rhythm the same as in the simple bar of martillo without the open note, and adding one extra note on the lower bongo at the end of the bar. So it will sound like this. This is example 6. So you notice you're getting the double and the thumb on the second double. And then you've got to come back quickly onto the high-pitched bongo to get that first note. So a very cool, you know, rhythm to spend some time with and get together. Bongos are amazing. For me, they're one of the things that I use on such a huge number of sessions and live projects. They're an amazing instrument. They cut through any sort of mix. They add a real sort of kind of, you know, forward momentum and energy to a track. So I'd recommend spending a bit of time with them, getting them down, and hopefully taking them into your rhythmic arena. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with.